Greetings, gods and goddesses in training. Welcome back to the channel. It is Uncle Makara, all relations. Let's get started today on today's video. How to be delusionally optimistic, why Delulu is the Solulu, why manifestation is just quantum reality. They called you delusional. Well, that's great. That's fantastic. That's a good place to be, because Delulu is the only Solulu that actually works. Because this world, it doesn't run on logic alone. It runs on beliefs. And beliefs bend reality. So I'm going to get into a little bit of the science of this, and then we're going to break it down, okay? Now, first of all, what's the science of Delulu? The observer effect in quantum physics, okay? So the first thing is quantum mechanics has already proven that reality is influenced by our observation. Okay, the double slit experiment shows that particles behave differently when they're being observed, right? So that means that your attention changes the nature of reality. Your expectation creates the world that you see. So if science says reality is fluid and not set in stone, then thinking Delulu isn't just delusion, it's good physics. Then of course we have the reticular activating system, or the RAS. The RAS in your brain acts as a filter, only allowing information that aligns with your focus. So if you think I'm a billionaire, your brain starts looking for proof to randomly support that new idea. But if you think I'm stuck, guess what? Your mind will filter out all the opportunities that could change that. So what you consistently tell yourself is literally constructing your version of reality. So let's get a bit esoteric, okay? Ancient mystical traditions teach that consciousness shapes form, not the other way around, okay? As within, so without. Shakti, or energy, follows Shiva, or awareness. That's Tantra. The Gnostics, the Vedic sages, and even mystic scientists like Nikola Tesla all understood that what we perceive as reality is just a projection of inner consciousness. So if you're seeing your delusions as impossible, you're just stuck in a lesser reality tunnel. People who say be realistic, you gotta be realistic, that's actually the most delusional, because they assume that their version of reality is the only one. A caveman looking at Wi-Fi or AI would say that's delusional, now it's reality. So in every era, the people who were Delulu enough to dream beyond the norm or the narrative were the ones that redefined what was possible, correct? So tell me, who are you going to be? The person who adapts to somebody else's identity, or the one who bends reality to their will? Not to impose on others, but to live your own mind by understanding it as the cheat code. Your beliefs are the building blocks of your timeline, essentially. So the only difference between people who succeed and those that don't is that successful people refuse to entertain certain limiting realities, right? So be Delulu, full send your dreams. Reality bends to those bold enough to claim it. You either script your own life or you get stuck in someone else's. So delusion is basically like a cheat code for success, okay? If you're aiming for something out of the ordinary, you gotta believe in your own hype before anybody else does. Now the real world is very, very structured, predictable. It's kind of boring, right? But dreamland, that's where innovators, creatives, game changers, mystics, they all live here. You're not here for a 401k and a picket fence. You're here to build something that doesn't exist yet. So Nietzsche said that knowledge kills action, because sometimes thinking too much or overthinking stops you from actually making moves. But delusion keeps you going when logic says quit. So it protects you from doubt, criticism, and the temptation to settle for mediocrity. Because society rewards realism, but history was made by people who ignored the odds. So every idol, every artist, every entrepreneur, you think they had a blueprint? No, they had conviction, self-belief, and they had vibes. They went against the statistics and won. So dreamers play by different rules. So that means dreamers play by different rules. Reality bends for those who refuse to play by its rules. It's just a dream I will dream on, dream on. You keep the faith alive, you stay obsessed, and you make the impossible inevitable. So own your delusions. This is the final boss move mic drop moment, the wisdom tsunami at the end. People will call you crazy. Perfect. That means you're onto something. If you're not a little unhinged about your goals, you're not dreaming big enough. So I've been delusional a lot of my life, you know. I didn't think that I was gonna be like every other peak performance coach. I started this journey off learning a little bit about psychology, understanding that I don't want to look at what's wrong with people. I want to understand what's right with them and help them transform that, because whatever you focus on grows. I understood that at an early age in college and so forth. And so I went the positive psychology route, and I started to study the science of flow state, and primarily getting really fascinated with altered states of mind, on how I could do it to myself through breath work or meditation or self-hypnosis, or bringing myself through these different astral tunnels. I found a way to do that, and it really made me either the ultimate transcendence expert or the ultimate escape artist, right? Avoidance specialist. So I moved away from that running away, rather refining towards my path and understanding that some things are way more important to consider than other things. And that your life is not made up of just like one or two decisions, it's made of these micro decisions. And so I've started to really speak about myself in a very enchanting and revering way, in my own mind, in my own inner consciousness, understanding that I have these different worlds, these different planets, these different dimensions that I visit, and that every day there is a new experience of this coming alive within my own sense of being, my own sense of consciousness. As a sentient being, every day there is a potentiality towards working with certain kinds of colors or lights or efforts or effects that I cause. And it's such a powerful understanding, because once I know that I'm delusional enough to do it, that I'm delusional enough to go there, I start to stretch the boundaries and the dimensions of my mind. And I start changing my identity. I start becoming a new person who adopts and prioritizes that value or that virtue, that specific kind of dream that originally it was a fantasy, but that fantasy got projected and it got materialized. You went to the ethereal and you made it material. That is manifestation. That is the blueprint. So I have this intention in mind that never breaks, that I want this thing, right? I have an intention that it is already mine. I don't want it. That's a desire. It's already mine. And I'm gonna live as if it's already mine. Now the energy's up. You see? Now the reality has to bend to your will, because you are not moving, you're not budging in terms of your own reality. Now there's a difference between being stubborn and keep staying stuck, and persistence, which keeps you moving forward. Okay? So if you're clinging too much, you'll feel stuck. You'll feel slow. You'll feel like you're attaching to this thing. But if you keep a healthy level of detachment towards the outcome, towards whatever result you want, then you stay in the flow state. Then you stay in that autotelic pocket, as they call it, which is another word for it being a very addictive, obsessive state, right? Because it's giving you a heightened sense of awareness, a heightened sense of pleasure or arousal. It's giving you a heightened sense of activation. So there's certain parts of your brain that are being shut off and other pleasure centers that are being rewarded. And so you got to start to understand yourself and your brain a lot better through this journey, by understanding its delusions, understanding its kinks and weird fetishes and fantasies and random, quirks and idiosyncrasies that you have. You got to know all of that stuff. You got to let your brain just ruminate on it and get real clear about what is it that I really desire in this life? What is it that I truly want? And understand it as a part of your own. It's not separate from you. It's not too outlandish. It's not too weird. It is something you have subconsciously decided upon. And this is why askformations is so powerful. When you ask yourself a question, your mind can't help but find a response. Okay? If you're the type of person who thinks, I've always got the answer, good. Because now you can ask your mind all sorts of things that reinforce your reality. How can today get even better than before? The key word there is even better, because it's already great. You see, so that's presupposing that it's already going incredibly. So how can today get even more miraculous? Implying that the miracles are already here. You see, so even with the way that you speak your words, you cast spells, these illusions or delusions get cast out. And if other people, they latch onto that reality, guess what? It starts causing a ripple effect, because the power of belief starts to stack. So this is how perception creates reality. Someone perceiving an Indian flag from, let's say, another country rival, a team of Pakistan in cricket, right? They're not going to see the Indian flag as the same as I see the Indian flag. You see what I'm saying? So this is why perception is the key that unlocks your true potential in this game. So don't sell yourself on some kind of a gimmick or some kind of a half-baked idea in your mind. Just really commit to what you already know. You know it to be true. You know that there's a force inside of you, a flow to be reckoned with, an understanding of a true level of depth within yourself that can also rise towards ultimate transcendence and liberation. You got this. We are the Moksha warriors. You already know what it is. Upward Spiral Gang, priest and priestess beasts. You already know. Okay, let's get it. Upward Spiral Gang. May we never be the same again. May the flow be with you. Osa, let's go.